Welcome back, everyone. And yes, this time I remembered to click go live. I went through my spiel last time and luckily I looked just in time. Or else who knows how far I would have got into our coffee break without even realising you weren't with me. So I'll be back in just a moment and we'll get into the Mirror Earth. Oh my word. There we go. We are live. Yes. Well, this time we're live. I didn't get this far into the stream the first time when I realised I hadn't clicked go live. But I did burst out laughing when I realised. And you know, it's just the way today's going. It's one of those days. It might be one of those streams, but this is the KBS coffee break. Yes. It's where we come to escape the madness of the real world. We step back from whatever rabbit holes we're looking down on any given day, and we just chill out. We have a coffee, we chat, and I find a couple of stories we might want to goof over, take a look at, and today, we've got a cracker, an absolute cracker. And of course, the main game in town later on, I'll be on the Kev Baker show with Kevin from Minnesota. So it's Kevin squared later on today on the show. Not that we're squares, and we certainly won't be squaring no circles, Lothar. Don't panic. No, nothing Masonic like that. No funny handshakes. But we're going to be talking about the Great Reset and what I'm calling the controlled demolition of civilization. You know, nothing too sensational. You know, just some easy listening. And of course, we're going to be getting into some good woo as well. We may be getting a caller from somebody who's going to be a future guest on their own kind of stream at the weekend sometime soon. And her name's Lydia. It's somebody that Bill Bean knows. She's got her own story to tell. And hopefully she's going to call in hour number 2 tonight when we open up the phones, and maybe we'll get an introduction to Lydia's story. We'll get to know her a little bit better. We'll have that ice broken so that when we come onto the stream one weekend soon, it'll be really, really good stuff. And really in line with the good kind of paranormal woo that we often get into here on the show. Now, it's not paranormal woo today. It's kind of cool space/quantum woo. But before I get there, let me go out to the chat room. And I seen our good friend Just Be Happy in the chat room. He was saying to people, you know, if I've missed you out in the chat, it's nothing personal, you know. But I know for a fact that's a lie. He told me one day, he said, you know, Kev, I'm very, very selective about who I say hello to in the chat. I'm only joking. I'm just pulling just a guy. I'm just having a laugh, man. And we have a laugh off air on the Discord, and it's thanks to Just Be Happy, just a guy. He goes by many names that we have got today's story. And before we get there, though, we've got Armand in the chat room. Yes, indeed. He's put out a little tweet. He's been over on Twitter. Oh, sorry, I mean Twitter. And he sent out the show. That's one thing you can do to support the show. Share it out. We've got AJ in there, Connie, and Brian, Tessa. Queen is in there as well. Queen, I hope you really enjoyed the show with Jason that we done. That was some really good woo. And really popular, actually. You know, that topic, you might think people wouldn't be into it, but I know that's far from the truth. So I hope you enjoyed that, Queen. We've also got Greg in there. HK Stocks, Cackles, Mick Cackles. I like it. We who else? Mannerus is in there, talking of gnomes, little people. Spooky Andy kicking about in there, and I will have my rock here. Remember the star hole? We're gonna have the star hole right here with the hole. Yep, indeed, exactly. So then, go figure. But I said with thee, no, I wasn't calling Andy. That was me. I was poking fun at myself, folks. Come on, it's a joke. Kev's doing pull-ups. I used to be able to do a rake of pull-ups, man. It's easy when you're you don't have much weight to lift. I used to watch guys in the army struggling. Oh, it used to be painful to watch, dude. These big giants that you would never get into a fight with, but when it came to doing like pull-ups and stuff like that, no good at all. Not made for it. We've got little glob in there, Connie, and now I've made myself paranoid because now that I cracked that joke about Just Be Happy, just like I, I'm gonna have to really make sure I get most of the people in here, right? Because if not, people are gonna think, did he miss me out on purpose? Is this some kind of hidden code that the Kev Baker show is playing about with? Is it? Oh, come on, Anne. You gotta love the X-File music that comes in. Because I forget that you can't hear what I hear in my ears. It was funny. I thought Anne's gonna like that, but shh, can't hear it. It was lost, folks. But getting back to the chat room, maybe we'll get through the chat before we get into the controlled demolition of civilization. That really easy listening topic that you're gonna love tonight. But we've got Black Eyed Children tonight as well. Oh my lordy. The Black Eyed Children are coming back on it. And who else we got in here? We got Ronald Penton. Jose Ramon Francis, ZX. The Wookiee will be in there somewhere. Android 17. Justin Goodearth. Tessa. Holy shamoly. Oh, Leslie was in here. Yep. We've got... And anyone who understands the whole joke and the dynamic in the chat room for a long time, you'll understand why I'm kind of smiling when I said that. She may just be lurking. We've got DJB too. Yes, indeed. We have got... What are you laughing at, Anne? You see. I'm obviously naturally entertaining. AJ, I think I've done you, AJ. Not personally done anything to you, but you know what I mean. Anne choked on her chicken. Hope that's not blue chicken one is having, Anne. Bok bok. But anyway, with that out of the way, I am so glad that you could all be here. 66 people here on the stream right now. It's gone down when I said that, but any of you been seeing the 66, the 666 number codes that I was talking about a little while back? I know some of you have. I've had some interesting messages from people that can't stop seeing the numbers now. Not my fault. You don't go blaming people buying new cars when you start seeing that new car, do you? Well, all right, we do then. So it is my fault. Okay, I take it on the chin. But I want to get into our mirror Earth. Yep, they've literally found another one of our planets, and it's really, really cool. It's really, really similar, and it gives us a talking point from where I'm going to launch into something that by the end of this, even though it's just a coffee break, it's nothing serious. We're chilling out. I'm going to leave you with probably the statement that will melt your mind. Okay? So keep that in mind. If your mind isn't melted by the time we leave here today, I haven't done my job right. And if your mind is melted, well, yeah, you get where I'm going with that, right? So we come over to the channel here. And we need to really, I was saying the other day, we need to take stock of some of the shows that we've done recently. Because there's been a lot of really good information come up. And it all connects together. Not all of it, but separate shows connect together. And we're going to have to kind of work out what's connecting together, what kind of vibe we're getting, what rabbit holes we're seeing opening up in front of us, and where we go next. It's all good fun. So then, if we get into what we're going to talk about today, this is the link that Just Be Happy sent to me. And it says a mirror image of Sun and Earth reportedly found in the depths of space. Now, it's not a long article, it's quite brief, but it gives us something to talk about, and we'll take it from there. Because it says the scientists warn that they will still require more data to confirm that their discovery is indeed a planet and not some statistical fluke or a systematic measurement error. And a massive exoplanet that orbits a star located some 3,000 light years away from our world was discovered by scientists who suggest that it may be potentially habitable. Fox News reports, citing a statement issued by the Max Planck Institute. And it says, according to the media outlet, while the planet, and it's got a crap name, KOI 456.4, see what I mean? It's not a snappy name, is less than twice the size of Earth, orbits a sun-like star, making the two practically a mirror image of our own planet and sun. So KOI 456.04 sounds like a radio station. Sounds like somewhere you would tune in to the Kev Baker show. And maybe sometime soon, if you're in and around the Nashville area of the United States, obviously, maybe you'll be able to tune in on a radio and hear yours truly. Yeah, more than that in the near future. We'll see what happens. Let's just say that the terrestrial airwaves are liking the Kev Baker show. We'll see what happens, right? But anyway, it says it's not a radio station. This is a planet in a region of the stellar habitable zone, the distance range around a star, admitting liquid surface water on an Earth-like planet, and that is comparable to Earth's position around the Sun. Now, they also point to the planet's host star, Kepler 160, actually emits visible light, thus standing out among, quote, the central stars of almost all other exoplanets, which emit infrared radiation, are smaller and fainter than the Sun and therefore belong to a class of red dwarfs. Now, the scientists warn, however, that they still need more data to formally declare KOI 45 or 456.04 a planet, as it can possibly turn out to be a statistical fluke or a systematic measurement error instead of a genuine planet. Now, I'm not saying we found the second Earth. I'm not saying it's going to be identical to this world that we've got here, but it is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool when they're now starting to find stars like our own with planets around them. And that's why, for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer when it comes to the whole, are we alone? I don't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that life is a whole lot more common than what probably scientists sometimes would have us believe, okay? Now, whether we are ever going to be able to send a probe, let alone astronauts, to a planet that is 3,000 light years away, well, that's another thing altogether, right? Because with our current understanding of physics, the standard model, propulsion systems, and the way the universe works, I ain't a goer. That ain't gonna happen anytime soon. It just ain't viable, right? So you have to start to think, if you are gonna get into exploring or looking at worlds like that even closer, we're gonna have to open up a whole new world of physics that, as of yet, I don't think we even imagine is out there. You know, I've read a lot of science fiction books in my time, as you can imagine, and I like listening to books as well. And there's a really interesting one that talks about AI. And this universe, we've got space travel, there's multiple alien species that we're aware of. There's a whole heap of stuff going on, but it's the travel that really kind of piqued my interest, and I took most note of, because it talks about a wormhole system, and the fictional account says that this elder ancient race, they seeded the universe, or the known part of the universe, with wormhole networks in between planetary systems that either held life or had the potential to hold life. And the control of this wormhole system was all done by AI. It was all AI controlled, and that used to make me think of when D-Wave first came onto the scene, and you had them talking about how it works in this realm and in other dimensions. And that's basically what this science fiction book was talking about, because the AI's both here in our physical realm, but also in other dimensions that we aren't accessing. And this is how it becomes, in this fictional story, possible to have a wormhole system that's governed and controlled by AI. And it's controlled by AI because of the math and the physics and the science that they themselves, as the story goes, opened up when they were going through their progression. They created AI, they eventually merged with the AI, and you know how that story goes. But this AI, it was able then to start playing about with space and time and manipulate the fabric of it. And that was pretty cool. And then I found a story today. I found a story that fits with what we're talking about with the second Earth. And, you know, it kind of makes you think about what's going out there, or what's going on out there, away from our world, and what's going on with the bigger picture. And you hear about the possibility or the idea that whatever the universe is, it's akin to a simulation. And you all know me. I like that kind of idea. I don't know if that fully describes what's going on. But if that's the case, you're talking about AIs, computers, programmers, and again, doesn't take away from God. I still don't think it takes anything away from God. I think the story in the Bible was written for people of a time back then to understand it, and as time has progressed, if we could have the Bible rewritten for our own time, I wonder how these same stories would be portrayed given our current technology and the knowledge of it. Because if you had told people back in the time when Moses was getting commandments on the mountain and things in the Sumerian texts and all the other stuff that go in to make the Bible and all the good stuff like that, if you'd started talking about quantum computers and other dimensions and wormholes and things, I think people up until this point in time, the story might have been lost on them. So I think we could still have the same story, everything in that, only with this technological knowledge that we now have, we might be able to understand it a little bit better. God, programmer. See? I keep everyone happy on here, right? But then this story I came across, this next one I came across, is the one that I think will probably help to melt people's minds, because it really made me think. And it's not very often that my brain kind of goes, ah. And that's a good sign. I know that sounds like a bad noise, but that's where my mind just goes, whoa. It just, hang on a minute. What did I just read there? So I'm going to bring up the story. of how we connect all of this crazy space food. And remember, this is a stream that means nothing. It's where we come, we get a cup of coffee, we chill out. I'll put some music on in a bit. We'll partake in our favourite pastime, all of us, and you know what I'm talking about. 3 letters of the alphabet, and no, it's not the 17th. And yeah, so we're going to move into mind meltage material now. Or I think it's mind meltage. You may all turn round at the end of this, look at each other and go, listen, we'll just tell Kev it was mind melting, but not really. But yeah, if there are all these aliens out there that I keep on talking about, and we're getting close to some kind of disclosure, be it fake or real, and we're talking about AIs that could be out there may be wormhole systems, all the rest of it. You know, what about that thing, the Fermi paradox? It's all out there, then where the heck are they, right? Right? We've all heard about that one before. Well, unexplained mysteries. Ah, you thought I was going to the mysterious universe, didn't you? Haha, see? There's more than one website I go to. But they had an article about this today, and this is where the mind meltage really started to happen, right? Really started to happen. So, seen somebody in the chat room. 16th letter, absolutely king. Let me bring you over to this here. Physicist proposes an answer to the Fermi paradox. This is a different answer than I've ever come across before. But take a listen to this. If the universe is teeming with intelligent alien civilizations, then why have we yet to discover any? So the question of whether we are alone in the universe remains one of the biggest philosophical conundrums of our time. While it seems almost inconceivable that our civilization is alone in the cosmos, the fact still remains that we have yet to see any evidence to the contrary. So the Fermi paradox, which highlights the contradiction between the likely existence of ET civilizations and the fact that we've still never encountered any, seems to suggest that either there are no aliens out there, or they are so rare that it is unlikely we would ever come across them. Now, one physicist has come up with another explanation, one that could explain not only why we have yet to discover alien life, but also what might ultimately happen in the future. So in a new paper, theoretical physicist Alexander Berezin from the National Research University of Electronic Technology, MIET, in Russia, a comrade, proposes what he calls the first in, last out solution. What if the first life that reaches interstellar travel capability necessarily eradicates all competition to fuel its own expansion? Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that an advanced alien race will deliberately go around wiping out other civilizations, but that they simply won't notice. The same way a construction crew demolishes an anthill to build the real estate because they lack incentive to protect it. But if such a scenario were true, why have we yet to be destroyed in the same manner? Well, that's because Berezin argues that we are most likely to be the destroyers that he describes. One rogue AI can potentially populate the entire supercluster with copies of itself, turning every solar system into a supercomputer. And there is no way of asking why it would do that, he wrote. All that matters is that it can. And for the sake of all life in the universe, let us hope that he is wrong. But what if for 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, he is right? I'll be back in a moment, folks. More to come. I'll get your thoughts on all of that. We've got a little bit of maybe UFO woo to look at from, I'm going to trigger people, NASA. And, of course, we'll be wrapping up here and we'll be getting ready to shift gears into the controlled demolition. I can't even say my own dang title. Yes, the Great Reset, everyone. That's what it's all about.
How dare you!
I've got no idea who she's even talking to anymore. She just does it randomly now.
How dare you!
Yeah, a rogue AI that just takes over the universe and populates it with copies of itself and bada bing, bada boom. How would we even know we're in that kind of room? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? But I remember the information with Anthony Patch, and it was really hard to get away from the fact that when you looked at the D-Wave, you had the qubit, and the qubit was basically a little round neobium type structure thing, and it would have charge, current moving both ways at the same time, right? And keep that in mind, that current moving both ways at the same time and things. And then you think bigger, right? You go from inside the D-Wave, you go to somewhere like, oh, I don't know, a circular particle collider. Doesn't even have to be CERN. But then you see how you've got that almost the same kind of thing on a bigger macro scale. The counter rotation of different charges, charged particles. You see how that goes on. And then you even go up into like space and take it really bigger. And you find out how all these charged particles and things are basically acting in the same way that we're seeing. And you can't get away from the fact that when you look up in the night sky after that, you have to ask yourself the question, you know, what is it that we're truly looking at? And I'm not saying that space isn't real. I'm just saying that we have got no idea. And I tell you what, think about it this way. What is it you need to do for the quantum kind of magic to happen in a D-Wave? You have to have things frozen all the way down to what? Basically the same temperature as it is in space. It makes you wonder. It does make you wonder. Hey, I'm just a guy in Glasgow with a microphone, a webcam, and don't listen to me. It's just the ramblings of a maniac, an absolute maniac. But what if? You have to say, what if? I know. I know I overuse that sound clip, but come on. It fits with the show, right? And remember, coming up later on the show, I'm not going away just yet, but coming up later on the show, we're going to have Kevin joining me. He's probably going to stay with me the whole show, I hope. In the first hour, we'll be getting an update on what's been going over there, what's been going on over here, and how it all plays into the controlled demolition of civilization. Yay! I got there. Absolutely fantastic. But then we're going to get into some woo. We're going to throw in some black-eyed children. We'll be opening up the phones, and hopefully, Lydia will call into the show, and we'll be able to hear some of her story. I don't want to get all of her story because I want to take that here one weekend sometime real soon, and we will have a real good show on our hands. Some deep paranormal woo. So then, let's see what is the chat room saying. Yes, it does fit. Exactly, Connie. Exactly. But as I always remind myself when I'm connecting dots, just because something does fit doesn't mean it's always an integral connection. Yes, big words coming out of me today. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Who cares? It's the pre-show. This is where we chill out. This is where we kick back. And this is where we're going to take a look at a bit of strangeness that is coming from the ISS. Okay? We're going to watch an astronaut. And it was sent to us by our good friend Graham. Yes, the guy who I honestly think should be the next James Bond. He's the most underrated actor in the UK. You might have seen him kicking about in the background in the extras. You know, a bit more than an extra in Downton Abbey. You know, I know you Americans love that. But he sent me this next clip that we're going to look at. And I don't know. I've got my theory. I'll show you something that I think might fit with it. But we could be looking at, dare I say it, we could be looking at aliens? Aliens? Really? Aliens? I've got a funny story about aliens in a moment as well. With everything that's going on in the world right now. You know that the cancel culture have gone after ancient aliens, right? Yep. Because of the parts of the world that ancient aliens allegedly turned up, yeah. It's culturally inappropriate. Only in today's woke world, right? Don't trigger me, but let's go and take a look at quite interesting footage from NASA. Yes, let's see. Let's get in there. There we are, there it is there, right? So we've got this here, and it says, this NASA spacewalk to fix the International Space Station is a scary face, right? Wow, it's actually a wow face, I know. But I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that there's something there in the video? Right? I want you to watch that, okay? I'll put it back here. Just watch. You got this thing here, right? Floating around. Now, it's hard. It's hard to make out. Please load that again. There we go. Let's see. How do we get it onto the big screen again? Oh, that's disappointing. Is that how we do it? There we go. Right, you see it? Now, it's hard to tell the size. It's hard to tell the distance, but there's more to look at in just a moment. But I think this is something that's come off from either a cover or some kind of thing that the astronauts got. We can keep watching it here, okay? Do you see how it's just there? See it? Again, it's hard to tell the distance, right? That could be absolutely massive, or it could be tiny. It could be close to the camera. It could be just down below the astronaut. It's impossible to tell, right? Or I think it's really hard to tell. But it does appear to be kind of, this sounds weird, space station-ish. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute, right? But there's more, look. There's more. And I know that image alone will probably be really be hurting people. But it's gonna get to it, You see, was that something falling off there? And then you've got this here, look. There it is again. Now, is that something massive that's going along with the space station? Or is it something that's dropped off and it's obviously going to maintain the same speed because of how things move out there, right? And then look at it there. It looks like a white triangle. Look, if we put it back. Hang on. Oh. Need to put it back. Hang on. Here we go. I'll play it from here, right? Oh, we don't want that music. Can you see that on the screen? Yeah, you can. Here we go. You see it? Just down there? I mean, is that the same thing as that is there? Weird, right? Weird. But I tell you, it reminded me of something that I've seen before. And I mentioned this, I think, with Scott Lopez, might have been Freaky Friday. But we were talking about Venus, right? Venus? Check this out, because this was a Russian mission a Russian probe that went to Venus, and this is one of the images that was sent back. All right, and keep in mind that kind of shape that you seen there with that thing. You know, that kind of thing, right? Take a look at this. This here, that there. Now, people questioned whether they had actually seen something artificial and alien when this image was captured, and we'll take a look at the mission in a moment, right? But that there reminds me of something like that there. So is that a cover of something that's come off and they've just dropped it? I don't know, okay? Listen, I am a firm. There's no point even having a conversation with me if the whole. But Kev, space isn't real comes into the whole thing. It's not even a discussion at that point. I just my brain switches off and I go away to somewhere more comfortable. Yes, La La Land that I live in. But yeah, do you see what I'm coming from here? It looks similar, right? I think anyway. There's another look at this picture. Now, they say that this was the lens cap of the camera that took the picture. I suppose quite logical, right? But then, if we look at that there, life on Venus. No, says space experts, the creature scuttling on the surface is a lens cap that fell off the Russian space probe. This is all the way back in 2012 that they're talking about this. And it was the Russian Venus probe, Venus 13, in 1982. So there you can basically see one image where there's blatantly something right there by that, and then nothing over here, or is that it there? Weird, right? I don't know about that there. But look, that's a good image of it. And then is that something similar to that? I don't know, but it's definitely worth taking a look at, and I hope it's got you thinking. What do you think? Let me know in the chat room. We'll come back, we'll chill out for a 5-10 minutes, and I'll get ready for today's main show over on tfrlive.com. And I may just have a microphone open in one of the Discord rooms if you're over there. I will need my good friend ZX to be on hand to help me with that one. I'll be back in a moment, folks. Don't go anywhere. Don't be square. Don't go anywhere. It rhymes. That's what I was thinking of. I'm a poet and I do know it. Greg, yes, my friend. Let me take you over here, Greg. Let's take a little look at this. Check this out, brother. Here we go. This is Venera, okay? And the Venera, Russian, and it's pronounced. I can't tell you how it's pronounced because then people will know I'm a Russiophile. But the program, the Venera program, was given to a series of space probes developed by the old Soviet Union between 1961 and 1984 to gather information about the planet Venus. 10 probes successfully landed on the surface of the planet, including the 2 Vega program and Venera Halley probes. While 13 probes, 13 probes. Where did I get to? Yeah, there. Successfully entered the Venusian atmosphere. Now, due to the extreme surface conditions on Venus, the probes could only survive a short period on the surface, with times ranging from the 23-minute to 2 hours. 23. I'm sure. I don't know what numbers mean, but I know people are into numbers. Now, the Venera program established a number of precedents in space exploration, among them being the first human-made devices to enter the atmosphere of another planet, Venera 3, 1966, the first to make a soft landing on another planet, Venera 7, 1970, and the first to return images from a planet's surface, Venera 9, 1975, and the first to perform high-resolution radar mapping scans, Venera 15. So there you go, brother. Yeah, I'd only found out about these probes not long ago at all. It was a documentary on Discovery, I think, that was talking about this. But yeah, really interesting, right? And who knew? You know, I tell you, who really won that space race? If you look at it, at the longer kind of picture, seems to me that the Russians were doing a lot more things than maybe just getting people on the moon. I'm only saying. And the dudes from World War II, they were kind of interested in Venus as well. Just saying. And you know what they were like with occulted ancient knowledge? What did they know that we now don't? There we go. There we go. Yes, I'm back. And look at the length of the hair. It's getting pretty wild. You know, my mum the other night, she said to me, Kev, you know, a couple of weeks more and your hair's going to be the same as it was when you came back from Amsterdam. Oh my word, folks. If I had photographs of how I looked after I came back from Amsterdam, you people would be the last to see them. Oh my, it was like kind of like a mushroom. It was wild. Hey, there was far better things to be doing than getting your hair cut in Amsterdam, right? You hear me? Far too many coffee shops over there took up my time. Absolutely. And yeah, so I don't know, but it all sets us up nicely, and it means I get to spend some time with the KBS peeps out there, and it's you people that I want to give special thanks to. I try and do it as much as I can, but we wouldn't be able to do what we do here without everything coming together. From people supplying links to people that are financially supporting the show and everything in between, and just participation on the channel, here in the chat. It all equally goes together to everything we've got here. Now, we're not some cult. I don't expect anyone to agree with anything that I say. You know my mission. If I had to have a mission statement, it's I provide, you decide. In the end of the day, folks, we shouldn't get too invested in any one story, any one narrative, anything that takes our attention away from the real world, our families, things that we can be doing that will be better for us, maybe better than concentrating or spending too much time looking at just one thing or worrying about just that one big story or this other big story. It's something I've had to do over time. You know, when you do go down the rabbit hole, you have to be very careful that you maintain that balance between the rabbit hole and your real game here. And the real game for all of us is that immediate sphere of influence that we have in the real world, in the physical world. Because the more time we do spend pouring our attention and concentration into some of the more heavy topics, it's no surprise that that then starts to manifest itself in the real world into sometimes health problems, sometimes stress, sometimes might just turn your smile into a frown, and we don't do that here. I try to give you that escapism. You press that release button anytime you see that this channel's going live, and sure, we're going to still be doing all of the big serious topics. We'll be talking about that today on the main KBS show. But when it comes to here on the backup channel and the fun that we've been having in recent weeks and months, I want to really keep it that way here. And I know it's something I like to do to escape from some of the heavier stuff I'm looking at. I equally enjoy spending time with you as you do spending time here, either liking the topics I get into or not. And there's going to be topics that I get into and guests that I bring on that won't be your cup of tea. But that's what elevates this audience, to the different level because we understand that and we appreciate that we're all different. And it's because of our differences that makes the real world, away from everything they want us to be looking at online, that's what makes it so brilliant. You don't need the woke brigade to make the world a wonderful, diverse place. It already is. It already is. You just have to open your eyes and see it for yourself and not let anyone else interpret that world around you. Not me, not any of your favourite shows, not any of the mainstream. Nobody, just you. You have to formulate that picture. And I'm telling you, the more time you spend in the real world away from the digital world, you start to appreciate things ain't quite as bad as we maybe sometimes think. When you've got your eyes really down focused into the microscope and you're looking at everything, how it connects words here, numbers there, names there, dates, companies, logos, think about it. Think of that face, your eyes down in the microscope. Oh my word, do you know things in detail? But you're missing everything going on around about you. Everything else that's going on. And don't let this experience, this one ride that we have in this biological spacesuit pass you by. Do the things you enjoy doing. And I think together at the end of it all, when we all get to that next plane, we can look back and we can say, well, I tell you what, that was a really good part of the journey that we spent together. And I don't think this is the first time all of us old souls that come here have journeyed together and partied together. Maybe last time out, you were the podcaster. I don't know. Maybe I was the woke one. But I do think we've all done this before. Because all of the information, especially the ancient stuff, and the longer we look back in time, I think the closer we're getting to an understanding of where we come from. Are we alone? And where are we going? I know where we're going. We're going over to the Kev Baker show. I'm going to stop being deep and philosophical and channeling some super extraterrestrial entity called Dork. Yes, no doubt my haters. There's only one of them, by the way. Do you not love how we only get 2 thumbs down, usually? I know people will now be racing to click thumbs down, but it's kind of pathetic. I can't be doing it right. Because in reality, that's just one troll. Not even, the force is not strong with this troll. In fact, actually, when it comes to that troll, but what they do is, they didn't even take the time to go and make many sock accounts. That's really substandard trolling. So, yes. How I got into that, I don't know. But I know where we're going, folks. We're going over to the Kev Baker show. And I'll be taking your focus, and I'll be getting you into some of that doom and gloom stuff. Yes. The controlled demolition of civilization. It's what they're calling the Great Reset, and it's something that you need to know about because it's something that we are all a part of, whether you know about it or not. It is the end of one age, and we are going into the next one. But the answer is, are you ready to make sure that's the age we want to move into? I know you are. So we'll be looking at that on the show tonight, and we'll be getting into some creepy black-eyed children. Oh, the creepy black eyes are back. There's more. And get this, it links into something we were talking about last week. Remember the Italian shape-shifting, astral traveling witch hunters? Remember them? The Benandante, I think they were called. What if I told you there's a connection between them and the black-eyed kids? So if you want to hear more about that, then join me on the main show. I invite you all to tfrlive.com. Now, we don't have the live stream connected again yet. There's coding issues going on. It's getting worked on. So we'll be on TFR Live tonight in the chat room. Now, if you're having problems, we've got the iHeartRadio app, TuneIn Radio. Perhaps maybe I'll be going out on some terrestrial stations soon. Who knows? It's a crazy world, right? I've obviously woke up on a different timeline, but more of that in the future. And if you're in Discord, I will open my microphone up. You can hear me and Kevin from Minnesota. Nacy, he'll be with me. We'll be opening the phones in hour number 2, and we'll be getting into all the good stuff that we enjoy to do. So thank you all very, very much for being here. Thank you to everyone who's continuing to support the show, while the main channel and all of our memberships, boo, it still irks me, are on hold. And it will be, I think, July the 2nd. That's how long we've got until get reviewed. And after that, all of those memberships will get cancelled. And if we get to that point, then we will cross the bridge of whether we turn memberships on here. Because this channel's really starting to grow. Lydia's in the chat room. Yes, there we are. I'm sure people in Discord will be able to give you links, Lydia. Yeah, I'm sure ZX and everyone will keep you right. Marty, thank you. Great advice. Wise words by me. See, I told you I must be channeling somebody called Dork. Where did that word come from? Did I imagine the word dork? Or is it actually coming from somewhere where there truly is a dork out there? Did I really say that? I think I did. And on that note, when you're talking about dorks, and it's all you've got left to say, it truly is time to say much love to all of you out there. No more Greta, I hope, but you're getting some of this. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. And yes, Lydia, I see you in the chat room there. Remember tonight, Lydia, if you call in, we're just going to get the kind of basics. We're going to get to know you. We'll get a bit of your story. And it's all really to prepare for when we get you on here on the YouTube some weekend in the next couple of weeks. And we will get into your full story. Oh yeah, everything coming together nicely on the back end of KBS. Thanks to everyone for helping. I'm out of here. I'll be back soon though.